Hi and welcome to E-ZTutoring. Today we're going to cover how you can graph quadratic inequalities. Now in order to graph quadratic inequalities, I'm going to assume you guys know how to graph quadratic equations in standard form. If you guys are not familiar with that, be sure to check out my video on it first before you watch this. Alright, so now in order to graph a quadratic inequality, not much changes. We just have to follow two basic rules, and the rest is pretty much self-explanatory, and we just graph it normally. So the first rule is if you have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, then you will choose a solid line. If you have greater than or just less than, then you will choose a dashed line. And that is how you are going to connect your points. Now, I went ahead and labeled the points because I'm assuming you guys already know how to do that. And now that we know this rule, we can see we have greater than or equal to. So we will choose a solid line. So that means we will connect these points using a regular solid line, like so. So that is our parabola. So now there is another rule. If you have greater than or equal to, then you're going to shade above. And if you have less than or equal to, then you are going to shade below. It's that simple. There's not too much to this, and the key is to really not overthink this. So in this case, we have greater than or equal to, which means we are going to shade above. So that means that everything above, and when I say above, I'm talking about in the y direction. So you look at this line here, everything above it. In this line here, everything above it. And everything above is going to be like so. So you shade everything above this parabola until you start running out of ink on your marker. And that's how you do it. Now, there is actually one more method to do this. What you can do is you can actually choose a point, one point inside the parabola and one point outside the parabola, and see which one satisfies your inequality. And that is another way that you can tell where you need a shade, whether above or below, just in case you don't like this rule. Now, if you like this rule, then you can exit out of the video now. If you don't like this rule or are just curious, then listen to what I'm about to say. So let's choose a point inside the parabola. A really easy point we could choose is 0, 0. This is going to be very easy. So that means x is 0 and y is 0. So we plug in a 0 for y, and we plug in a 0 for all the x's. Plus 3 times 0 minus 18. 3 times 0 is 0, 0 squared is 0. So now, is 0 greater than or equal to negative 18? It sure is. So because it satisfied the inequality, therefore this point is part of your solution, and that would tell you that you have to shade inside. Now, another thing you can do is actually choose a point outside here, like 4, 0. And if you plug that into the inequality, it will actually not be true. And that tells you that anything outside of the lines you do not want to shade. So that is how you graph quadratic inequalities. That is how you do it. If you guys ever want ACT or SAT help, be sure to visit my website, www.e-ztutoring.com. Thank you guys, and have a good day.